everybody. Today we are going to look at the programming like object passing in classes and objects. Some students find it difficult how to pass objects to the functions of the class and how to carry on the work according to the question given. Now the first program that I am going to try in front of you people is to create a class time which has got three data members: hours, minutes and seconds. You have to take two different times. Suppose one time is A, which is having 10 hours 45 minutes and 30 seconds, and the other time is B, which is having 11 hours 45 minutes again and 30 seconds. You have to add both the times, add them to create a third time. Now as we know, 60 seconds makes up 1 minute, and similarly 60 minutes makes 1 hour. Now if we are going to add both the time, so we have got 10 hours 45 minutes and 35 seconds, and the other time is 11 hours 45 minutes and 30 seconds. If we are going to add 30 and 35, we are getting 65 seconds, which is more than that of 1 minute. So you have to subtract 5 from it so that it turns out to be how much? 1 minute. So you will be left with only 5 seconds. 60 seconds will make 1 minute, which will be added to 45 and 45, which we have got in the minutes. So 45 makes out 90 minutes plus 1 that we have given to it is 91 minutes. Now 91 minutes is not a minute. In that case, you will be doing what? From 91 you have to subtract 60, so that you are left here with 31 minutes. From the remaining 60 minutes that we have subtracted, we are going to make 1 hour. And in the hours, we had got 10 hours for A and 11 hours for B, and we have also added 1 hour to it. So when 10 and 11 were added, we got 21 hours. 1 hour we have given to it, so we are getting 22 hours. So the final time should be 22 hours, 31 minutes and 5 seconds. This concept we have to apply in our programming. So let's see how do we do it. I am making this program on Notepad, and let's see how do we make it. I am importing here java.util, and this is my class time. As I told you, there are three data members: int hours, minutes and seconds. And if suppose a constructor is given, it will be a parameterized constructor. And here we have got int a, int b and int c as parameters, so that these values can be assigned to hours, minutes and seconds. If suppose in any program you get a parameterized constructor, you will not be given a void input or a void except function, because that input will be taken from main. Now the function that we will be given will be void add, and here we are receiving two time objects, time A, time B. This means time A will be having its own hours, minutes and seconds. Time B will be having its own hours, minutes and seconds. These two times have to be added to a third time object. We'll have to create a third time object. Time C is equal to new time 0, 0, 0. It doesn't have its hours, minutes and seconds. It is going to take the addition of A and B. So C dot hours is equal to A dot hours plus B dot hours. C dot minute is equal to A dot minute plus B dot minute. C dot seconds is equal to A dot seconds plus B dot seconds. And as I told you, if the minutes is more than 60, then it becomes 1 hour. So we'll be checking here with while C dot minutes is greater than equal to 60. So it will turn out to be 1 hour. c dot hours is 1 hour. You are adding 1 hour to it, and from c dot minutes you are subtracting 60. Similarly, if I take here c dot seconds is greater than equal to 60, so from c dot minute you will be adding 1 minute and subtracting 60 seconds from the seconds part. And then with system.out.println we will be printing here c dot hours, c dot minutes, and c dot seconds. This function finishes here. Then we have void display, in which we will be printing only simply hours, minutes and seconds. They are not going to refer to any object. Hours, minutes, and seconds. Now we are going to make here public static void main, where we have to show that we have got two objects. But for both these objects, the input has to be taken from the user. So we will be declaring here scanner. And we can take here like elements X, Y, Z, A, B, C. We cannot take A because I'll be creating objects by the name of A, B and C. So I'll be keeping some other names like M, N and O. So with system.out.println we'll ask here enter first time. So X, Y and Z will be taken as inputs. And I have to ask another time also from the user, so we'll be copying this thing and we'll take here M, N, O, and now we can create our two objects. Time A is equal to new time X, Y, Z. Time B is equal to new time M, N, O. Then A dot display, B dot display, so that they can show their own times. And now with the help of A object or B object, choice is yours, you can call the add function. So let's save it with the name of time.java, but the path that I'll be taking will be java jdk bin, and now here I can give time.java. Now since I have made this program on TextPad, I'll be running it through CMD prompt. Even if you run on Node on that TextPad or BlueJ, by that you will be only compiling it and then you can run it. I'm opening here CMD and on CMD I'll be giving here a command which I'll be showing you now. This is my CMD. With CD backslash, I'll come out of the entire path. CDJ, I'll press tab. CDJ, again tab. CD tab. And here we have got a command javac. Something wrong was there. Maybe I have put a colon instead of a semicolon while creating the object of C. Yes, that was a mistake. Again, I'll press up arrow key to repeat the command. Which line number? Line number 5. Okay. Spelling of println. Now the bytecode has already been generated with the help of Java command. This is a virtual machine of Java. I'll be writing here time. So it's asking me the first time. I'm giving that same 10 hours 45 minutes and 35 seconds, 11 hours 45 minutes and 30 seconds. So here we get the output 22 hours 31 minutes and 5 seconds as we were calculating in the beginning of the video. These two times that have been displayed are of A object and the B object that we have taken as an input. So what we have done is, when we want to call the add function either with the help of A object or with the help of B object, you can call the add function and send both the objects. This is actually called by reference. Immediately both the objects will be received here in the add function. Because the data types of A object and B object is your time class, so they are not going to be received by any other data type. Time A, time B, both of them will be received here. Since we are questioned here that we have to create a third time object, so time C has been created by sending 0 parameters because it has to take the addition of both the times. So in C.hours we are going to put the addition of both the objects, hours. Then in C.minutes again the addition of A.minute and B.minute, and in C.second the addition of both the seconds. Then we have to check if the seconds is greater than equal to 60, we can add 1 hour to C.hours, and in C.minute we are going to subtract 60. Similarly for seconds also, if it becomes greater than equal to 60, we are going to add 1 minute to C.minute and we are going to subtract 60 seconds. And finally, we are going to print here the final output. Now, this program can be asked in several ways. This was a void type of function, so the output came inside the function. It was printed inside the function. Suppose it is asked that the return type of the add function is time. In that case, after doing all the process, instead of printing, we are going to return C from here, the object. And while calling the function, we need here time C is equal to, written in the wrong place, here, time C. As soon as that return C executes, it will be thrown into this time C object, and with the help of C.display you can get that final output. So let's see the output again. We will first compile it again because we have made some changes. then Java time. I'm going to repeat the inputs that I gave: 11, 45, 30. Output is the same, but the method of doing it was a bit different, that instead of printing inside the function, we are returning the object C over here. Reason? Because the return type of this function was not void, it was time. Right? Now if suppose this question can also be given a twist. Suppose the question says that time add time B, and you have to add both the objects. How is it possible? Time A has not been received here, but here they are considering that the invisible object A is already present in this function. We are not going to write here the name of A, but it is already present in the function. How is it possible? Let's see how do we do it. While calling the function with the help of time C, A dot add is calling the function and sending B. It will not send itself. So when A was calling this function, it sent B. If B is calling this function, you will be sending only A. Because A is calling over here, so A says to the function कि I am already present inside this function. So there is no need of taking my name over here. So time B is already present over here, but the currently calling object, who is calling this function? A is calling. So the currently calling object A is present in invisible form over here. Let's see the output. The output will be the same and it will run the same way. I'm running it again. It has been compiled. And you are getting the same output. So 3 ways can be given in your exam paper when you are sitting for the board exams of 12th. It can be helpful for BTech students also, that if suppose this type of function is given where only one object is there, but the question is saying that you have to add the 2 time objects and create a third time object. It means the invisible object A is already present over here, whose variables will be used without taking its name. Hope this is clear to you people, that how to use invisible object. Right? Let's see one more program in this session, and that is how to use arrays programming in call by reference, that means in passing objects. Let's have a look. This program that you people are seeing on the screen is based on a question, and that question I'm going to read in front of you. I'll show you the pic of it also. A class collection contains an array to store 100 integers. Using the following class description, create an array with common elements from 2 integer arrays. So the data members that have been given are a single dimension array of the name AR and 1 integer len, a simple integer to take its size. And we have got a parameterized constructor in this class to initialize the length so that the array can be constructed accordingly. Void read array to take the input of the array elements. And collection common collection, again the same way as in time I showed you time add bracket mein only time B was being received. That type of function is there. And the function says that we have to return the collection containing common elements of the current collection object and the collection object passed as a parameter. And void display array naturally to print the array elements. Let's see this program. This class name is collection. I have created here static scanner. Reason, I need to take input in read array as well as to take input of sizes in main. If I want to use a scanner only one time in this program that it can be used in all functions, then put a static keyword before it. So you don't have to declare it again and again. Then this is the array and this is int len, and this is a constructor collection which is receiving int size as a parameter to assign it to len, and then the array is created of the size len. Void read array is going to run a loop from 0 till the length so that the array can be taken as an input. The array elements are being taken. Now comes the most important function, collection common, which is receiving only collection B. It means collection A object is already present there. And they are saying that you have to collect the common elements of both the array and put in a third object. So collection C is equal to new collection, and the size is not determined, so we can give here b.len plus len. This len, which is not having any object, is that of A object, the current object, which is invisible. Then we are running a loop for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I less than len for A object. D is used as a counter over here, and J loop is running for b.len. So two objects are using their own loops, and there is a counter in between. Now we are going to take one element at a time of A object, that is an invisible object, and compare it with the entire array of B objects array. That if any of the elements are matching with one element of A object. If they are matching and 2-3 times that element has occurred, so D is going to increment. D will become 1, 2, whatever number of times it occurs. As soon as you are outside the J loop, you are going to compare here. If D is not equal to 0, that means it has counted somewhat. Then C objects array will be taking that element of A object Ri, which is commonly occurring in B object. We are keeping here a numbering of K for C objects array. So K initially was declared here as 0. So C dot rk will increment. First of all, at 0 position it will keep that element, and then with K plus plus it will move to the first element, waiting for the other element which is commonly occurring in both of them. After this, again it will go back to this outer loop of A object. Again D will become 0, and it will take the next element of A objects array and compare it with the entire array of B object. So if any of the elements are again occurring commonly, then D will increment. Now after how many elements have been put into C, K knows which position it has ended on. So C.len is equal to K will be the final value, that now C has got only this much elements. After that we have to return C. Why we are returning C? Because the return type is not void, it is that of collection class. Then with void display array, we are running the loop up till the length of the array and printing it. It has no connection with any object. Whichever object is going to call this display r function, it will print the array elements of that object. Now comes main, in which we are taking two sizes, one for A object, the other for B object. After taking the sizes, we are creating two objects and sending into the parameters their respective sizes. After that, A.read array is going to call the read array function so that its array elements can be taken as input. Similarly, B.read array will call the read array function to take its own elements input. Then collection C is equal to A.common B. Again the same thing as we have done in the last program of time object. A will remain here. It will say to the function that I am already present over there. I am sending you B object. After doing everything in that common function, we are going to display here that now the common elements are. And C is going to receive that object which was returning C. C.displayr is going to display in front of us all the common elements. So let's see. I have already compiled it. I am just going to run it. No, I think I should compile it again because then it will be better. So it's asking me two sizes. I'm giving here 5 5 for both the objects. Now it is asking me the input for the first array, first objects array. I'm giving here 1 2 5 6 and 7, and for the other object 2 5 7 1 and 3. So common elements that are occurring are 1 2 5 and 7, because 1 is occurring in the first one, in the second one also, then 2 is occurring in the first one and in the second one also, 5 is occurring there, and 7. So 4 elements are common in both of them, which are being put into the third object C. So hope you people have understood how to carry on with the programs of passing objects with arrays also. And we'll meet in the next session. If more programs are required on passing objects with arrays, you can tell me and we'll make more videos. Thank you.